Welcome back to Switch to Linux, and today we are going to do another PinePhone review, and we are going to look at Manjaro Plasma. And the initial commentary, first and foremost, this is actually the one that is shipped with the PinePhone, and to my experience, it is the one I would like to almost see the best, at least Plasma, whether or not it's Manjaro, but it actually seems to perform the absolute worst. So if you get your Manjaro out of the box and you got a lot of issues with it, try post-market. I'm thinking post-market with Phosh is amazing. I am playing a little bit with Mobian Phosh, and that one I don't have as much experience with it, but it should be fine. First thing I'm going to identify right here is there are a few notifications up here. This will spam you with notifications. Particularly, you see this network error, and you see a bunch more of them just showed up. What tends to happen is the network tends to die and then reconnect itself, and then it will notify you every single time. But of specific concern to me is that this does not actually see our cellular data. And I did push the latest firmware version. Now, it worked at least marginally in the past. And right now, it is not working at all. And I do have the latest firmware installed. So I might actually have to downgrade firmware to an older version to get the modem back on this. But for whatever reason, so let's go ahead and have a brief look. So here is your login screen. And here is your settings, notifications, and things. Now, I really like this layout of the phone a lot better than the other one. It's kind of reminiscent of kind of how the Windows phone was, right? I love the UI of the old Windows phone. It was just a horrible experience. So let's go ahead and get logged in here. So we'll go ahead and enter my key. And, oh, did I do it right? And now, there are two ways of getting this set up. This one is the one that works better. It works very functionally. You slide over, here's all your applications, and you can put your favorites on the home screen. Now, there is a layout you can use that would make it more like an Android device where you can put icons on the screen and multiple screens. It is an abysmal nightmare to work with. The icons never stay put. If you rotate the phone, they'll move around, but they'll never move back. And so you really have this horrible experience with that. I'm not saying it's a horrible phone. I'm just saying the Plasma experience is not what I was hoping it would be, because this is really the one that I want the most. I'd prefer this rather than a GNOME or a Phosh build. But in my experience with this, it's not working well. What I want to see is what other distros run Plasma. I want to see how they implement it. Is the problem Manjaro? Because we've also had the problem with Manjaro has killed itself multiple times, forcing me to dock this device and get into a terminal and do some terminal magic on Manjaro to fix it. I know, Manjaro blowing itself up on an update. Tell me it isn't so. But let's go ahead and look at some of the features of it here. Now, you'll notice first and foremost, if I click on the mobile data, it's going to give me the error that we can't access the mobile data. It takes me down here. It wants the password, but since I'm already logged in, it bypasses that. And then if we click on our cellular network, you'll see that there is a SIM here. But when you go and click on this, you'll see we can't modify the APN. And if you go in and look at the current signal operator and it says none, and we scan, we get this. And this is the problem, is that the modem is not being able to be seen by this distro. Now, it is connected, I believe it is connected to the Wi-Fi, so we do have internet on this. So the problem is specifically here with the modem, and there's another network notification. We're going to keep getting those. And as you look at it, we can do a forced modem restart. That doesn't do anything. And we can see we have Qualcomm and things. Now, what we've done on this is we've installed under post-market is the best firmware tool. And we have the latest version of the PinePhone firmware for this device and it does not work. Now, if I rolled that back to an older one, I might get the modem to work. It was working in the past. Now, I know it's not a problem with the modem itself because with this update, Mobian has full LG network, which works. Ubuntu Touch fully works, and Postmarket OS on both Postmarket OS on both GNOME and on Phosh both work. So it is something specific to Manjaro and or Plasma that is preventing the cellular method to work. So basically, I have a phone that cannot do any phone option, but hey, it does everything else pretty well. I did install a number of things on this one. I think this is the most built out of all the phones. I played with it the most. You'll notice I do have the firmware app, but it will not work. There's a firmware app tool that needs to be done that is not working. We have tried Jitsi, and Jitsi works for audio, but it doesn't seem to connect or be able to communicate with the cameras. You'll see I've installed the full suite of LibreOffice. I've installed GIMP. These actually all work and fairly well. And not as well here on the phone, but they will work. Somebody did ask in the comments about LibreWolf, so I actually installed LibreWolf here on Manjaro, and this works just fine. No issues at all. Of course, we'll be able to test if the internet actually works here. And give it just a second. Do get the background activity notification, and let's go ahead and search for something. So you'll notice that this one is not as laggy. GNOME is laggy. Phosh is not super laggy. GNOME is laggy. Manjaro is not ultra laggy, and that's actually pretty good. So we have a good user experience in that respect, and it's possible that it's connected and not working. Now, I will say that there might be something wrong. Yeah, so that is probably not the phone. I think that my wireless networking needs rebooted. I was having issues with another device earlier today, but that's okay. So here you can pull up. We have the X on the bottom, which is going to close all of the apps. Let me show you that. The X on the bottom closes the current app. And then let me just load up a few different things. Or Thunderbird's a bad idea there to load. It's going to be asking us for login stuff. But yeah, I mean, we have Thunderbird. I have not tested Thunderbird on mobile. I don't know how well it works. That's something I probably want to do. But I'm going to do that on whatever I want to use more stably testing. But we click the middle button, and this will just take us back but leave the application running. And let's do one more item there. And let's pull up ELISA is what they use for audio, which does work. And I was able to play some music on this. Now, if you push your little square button, you'll be able to see all of your applications that are currently open. So you can go and scroll into whichever application you want. You can, I believe you can slide them up to close them, or you can hit the X on the top. So it is has a nice method of switching between things. So here is what we have, and here I have my album there. Here's our information. So I didn't put a lot on here. Okay, I have Pure Moods. I have the album Pure Moods on this particular phone. Obviously, we won't play anything because of copyright stuff, but it does work. This will connect to a Bluetooth headset and headphones. I can listen to it through there. I did have a problem. I think this is the phone that was connected to the Bluetooth when I did make a phone call, and I could not use the Bluetooth to make the phone call, which was frightening in and of itself. So from here, if I want to just keep the application open, I can just hit either the square to pull up or the circle to bring up the main home screen. Or what I could do is I could just hit the X, and that's just going to close the application. So you see it's no longer here. So that is works out pretty well. You can put anything you want on the home page there. So let's say we're going to put GIMP on the home page. I think you hold and hit add to favorites, and now it will be up here on your home page. So this works out well. Now, if you hold on this guy here, and we can do our configure, and we can change our wallpapers. I'm going to go ahead and hit our configure button, and then I'll show you the various options. So this is the home screen layout. This is the one we're currently using. Is that Hyliion? I can't exactly see super clear. But if we change this layout, yeah, Halcyon, I think, or Folio. Folio is the layout that brings it back into more of a standard Android layout, and there's some issues there. It died unexpectedly. Okay, well, that's exciting. I do get these types of issues. Let's see if it actually loads. Okay, so here is the layout for the apps on the more Android ones. So here's, we have a weather app here. Here's a clock app. And let's go ahead and put some applications up on the home screen. And the problem that I was having, oh, did I close the screen? I'm not sure exactly which. That should have just gone to an alternate screen there, but apparently it didn't. You can kind of see that the Manjaro is not nearly as well polished as the other ones have been. Now I can't even slide it up to, come on, let's go, let's go. All right, let's try that again. This is definitely the worst experience, which is funny that this is the build that they give us. It is completely non-responsive right now. So I'm going to reboot the phone, I think. I have had nothing but problems when I switch to that Folio. Icons don't stay where you put them. I spent a good 5 minutes aligning everything perfectly, and then you accidentally rotate the phone, and then they all just go out of whack, and then they randomly, even if you don't rotate the phone, they just randomly jump and move, and then you can't even move them back. It becomes a really weird circumstance. I'm not saying it's absolutely horrible. I'm just saying that of all of the experiences I have tried, Manjaro Plasma so far is the worst. Everything from we're not getting the cellular network connecting on the latest firmware, and Manjaro is completely up to date. In fact, I updated it. Let's see if we can actually get in there now. There we are. So you can see that it just threw the two icons I had at the very top of the screen and just moved things around. There's our network error again. And then if you can rotate it, and then it'll move the icons around somewhere. Rotate it back and it'll move them again around somewhere else. So who knows where they'll end up. So it's not an ultra good experience utilizing this. That's why I actually do have a lot better experience using the main default Plasma. I think it's the better of the two experiences. Let me hit that configure button, go back, and home screen layout. And then we can change the wallpapers and things like that over there. Let's go ahead and hit our apply now. And hopefully that'll go back to, looks like it did reset all of our favorite applications. So I have to reset our favorite applications again. So we'll hit add to favorites. Let's put Firefox over there. Put that over there. Again, just like in the previous editions where we talked about some of the problems with some of the apps, Bible Time is not an app that works super well if you're looking to read the Bible on your phone. This is not the app you're going to want to use for it. I was able to finagle it just enough. We always get this backup notification as well. But if you'll remember from the other app, it's kind of hard to actually get to the scroll bar to scroll up and down. And most of the time, if you want to do that, it just highlights text. So that's not a good experience. I think Xiphos worked slightly better, if I remember correctly. Let's give this a try. It does give us those constant background notifications every time I load an app up. So you can see this scrolls a little bit better, but good luck reading that text. So again, I'm still looking for an application. I'd like to find a Linux application that can use the sword modules that actually has a better layout for a phone. So far I've not found those yet, but we'll keep looking around. As far as LibreOffice is concerned, this actually works surprisingly well on the phone. When it works, but there you go. Apparently she died, Jim. So let me try that again. He said that's the first time I've had LibreOffice not work for me. As your background activity shows up again. That might be loading. I'm going to give it a second. I didn't see the she's dead gem, so it might be working. There you go. So here, you can see that the toolbars is up there. We have our basic simple tools, and we can come in here and just start typing. So there's a hello world, and you can see, I mean, that typed pretty well. Let me see if I can type around my thing here. So you can see it's not laggy at all. It works fairly well. And if I were to hook up a keyboard, this guy works even better. In fact, that is what we're going to do next, because I realized I wasn't showing how the docking works. And some people are like, hey, you should show how this thing works on a dock. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I have my dock set up over here. And just because we can, the dock, of course, has a power down here, so I can plug this in. Let me go ahead and turn on the power switch for that. So this guy's now drawing power. I have a unifying receiver here, which is going to be for the keyboard and mouse combo. And then we have a full HDMI. And in this case, this is going to my capture card. So we're going to go ahead and capture the last part of the video over on the computer as well. And then we'll also throw a couple views of what this looks like. We also can do a network here. We're not going to worry about messing with the network right this second. But let's go ahead and get this guy docked in, and then we'll walk through what happens there. Okay, this is the general experience I've always had with this. So we have over here is where we have our all applications, our applications loaded in our close. And we have, let's go ahead and pull up our Libre Writer again. Here's our constant app that's reminding us that something is running in the background. Up here, we can see our notifications, 71% battery. You can see the Wi-Fi, and we can see the cellular network, which is not connected. And now with a keyboard connected, here's a hello world. And we'll do one-handed typing here. This is quite responsive. So you can see that even doing documents here on LibreOffice on the PinePhone works really well. We can save the documents here. Let's go ahead and just give it a save. And then we'll just save it somewhere. We'll just call it Untitled 1. And I'm getting a little lag with the mouse right now. Okay, there's that. So that's actually saved. Okay, if you are wanting to use, let's have a look at what this app looked like. Of course, it does not work well on the phone. But when we have it docked, it'll work out pretty well. Let's get rid of our notification that keeps on popping up. And now we can actually easily scroll stuff with our mouse. Of course, it's only on the partially size of the screen because that's the way it's set up for the phone. So I can drag that guy over a little bit. Ooh, that's not super responsive. There you go. You can see that there's quite a bit of lag over there doing that one. But we can scroll up and down. We can use the application as we generally would expect to. Here is our loading up our applications. Here is just our full one going back. So overall, the system does seem to work out pretty good for a small little device, being able to dock it well. Now, the issues we had earlier, that's the capture card, and occasionally my capture card does weird stuff like that. So I'm not going to fault them for not being able to handle the weirdities of my capture card that even regular computers sometimes struggle with. So docking the system up does work out well. Of course, the dock, we're using a unified mouse, Logitech computer layout here. And capture card is a bust, but everything else seemed to work out pretty well there. So there is the quick review. If you're looking for the better experience, Manjaro may not be it. Now, to be clear, I have not tried Phosh or GNOME on the desktop dock as much. I should go back and try those. Ubuntu Touch I was not able to get working at all on the dock, so we'll have to see what's up with that. I'll play with that a little bit more when I can. But there is our brief review of Manjaro Plasma. I really want Plasma to be the best phone system I want. It's just so far with this experience, it's not been good. I don't know if that's because it's Manjaro or if it's because of something else. So if you do know of a Plasma experience on the PinePhone that does work out well, let me know in the comments. Definitely. I definitely want to check it out. So overall, I am pleased with how it's working. We need to figure out what's up with the network card on the, I think if I remember from memory, it's 0.072 is the firmware version I have that's not working with the cellular networks over here. But I don't know. Let me know what you guys think and other things that we should look at in the future videos. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.